Welcome back, disc golf weirdos. Like a lot of recreational disc golfers, we have an arm speed best described as slow to moderate, and our workhorse off the tee disc is an Understable 7-speed fairway driver. These discs excel at arguably the most important shot in disc golf, the tee shot that actually goes straight. Elite arm speed players will want to look elsewhere, and these are not the discs we would throw into a ripping headwind, but most of the time, and for most people, Understable fairways are a mainstay. We've accumulated 7 of the most popular discs in this category, and we will give you the Keep Disc Golf Weird rundown on all of them. We'll give the honor to the first disc review to Innova, the folks that invented the beveled edge golf disc. They make a few discs around the same speed and stability, but we decided to review the Leopard3, which features an updated design and a slightly higher speed than the original Leopard. The Leopard3 was PDGA approved in 2017 and has flight numbers of 7-speed, 5 glide, -2 turn, and 1 fade. The Leopard3's rim thickness is 1.7 centimeters. We somehow acquired this clear, tie-dyed Leopard3 molded in Champion plastic, and despite liking how it flies, we've always been so afraid we would lose it given the brushy courses we normally play that we have never bagged it, only using it for field work. Unfortunately, we broke this one after a wicked tree kick in cool weather while shooting this video. We've ruined our fair share of discs over the years, but this is the first time we can recall Champion plastic splitting like this. Out on the goat pasture, we felt the Leopard3 had a good feel in the hand and with just a touch of turn and not much fade. It always performed predictably no matter how hard we threw it. Our second disc is the popular Latitude 64 River. When the River was introduced in 2010, Latitude 64 drew some criticism for claiming a 7 glide rating. Previously, the glidiest discs were rated 6 glide. This is part Latitude 64 marketing, but Rivers are a really glidey disc, whatever the flight numbers are. And while Latitude describes the River as a 7-speed, it has a slightly thicker rim than the Leopard3. Also, we recall this disc had some noticeable flashing when new. We absolutely adore the soft, domey feel of this River, which has been thrown extensively and has held up very well. We found the River to be more understable than most of the other discs in this comparison, and you can see here it wants to head to the right. This understability, along with excellent glide, can be useful for turnovers that turn right and never come back. It's also a really good hyzer flip disc. Next up is the Discraft Mantis. This is the one disc in our comparison that the manufacturer rates an 8-speed. It has the thickest rim in the comparison at 1.9 centimeters. The Mantis has gained some additional attention lately because Discraft team captain Paul Ulibarri frequently throws a Big Z Mantis. The Mantis was the Ace Race disc for 2013 and has flight numbers of 8-speed, 4 glide, -2 turn, and 2 fade. The Mantis seems to be the most different disc in the comparison, with a shape that is difficult to describe. The top starts off like a really domey disc, but then it abruptly becomes a flat top. It also features Discraft's trademark molding inside the rim. Both of these discs are relatively stiff, but the TI disc is stiffer. They feel better to forehand, in our opinion, than the other discs in this comparison, and we think that is because of the rather unique top design. Usually flatter topped discs are more comfortable to throw forehand. This first throw was a backhand by a lefty with similar power levels to the righty that threw the others. The Mantis is slightly faster than the rest of this group, and indeed, we frequently got a bit more distance, especially with the titanium plastic disc. Now on to an offering from Legacy. For whatever reason, Legacy discs aren't very popular around our parts, and we've never understood why, as we've liked every Legacy disc we've ever tried. The Patriot is another example of this. We are particularly enamored with Legacy's Icon plastic, which is an opaque, grippy, premium plastic that feels like perfection to us. The Patriot was PDGA approved in 2012 and has flight numbers of 7-speed, 5 glide, -2 turn, and 1 fade. Like the majority of discs in this comparison, it has a 1.8 centimeter rim thickness. Nothing about the Patriot's shape stands out, but you can see here the soft flexy plastic that makes the Patriot a joy to handle. The Patriot was on the more stable end of this test, and despite feeling great in the hand, we got a little bit less distance than most of the other discs. As the disc breaks in, it will probably turn more, stay in the air a bit longer, and get more distance. We couldn't track down a gyro disc from MVP or Axiom in time for this video, but the drift from MVP's Streamline brand fits right in here with flight numbers of 7 speed, 5 glide, -2 turn, and 1 fade. The drift was PDJ approved in 2018 and has a 1.8 centimeter rim thickness. The drift has built an excellent reputation with outstanding product ratings on both Infinite discs and OTB discs. Here's our Proton plastic drift, which we purchased to replace a heavily thrown Neutron plastic drift. It has a relatively stiff top. Streamline discs are molded really nicely and have no flashing whatsoever. The drift leans to the more understable end of the spectrum here. The chickens were impressed with the turn on this flight. The Discmania FD was originally an Innova designed and manufactured disc, but after Discmania and Innova parted ways, it is now being manufactured in Discmania's new facility in Sweden. We picked up this Swedish C-line disc for this video. Innova continues to make discs with the original FD mold and calls them the Dark Rebel. Interestingly, the flight numbers are different on an older Innova produced C-line FD. This one we don't throw anymore because it was signed by Eagle and Simon. And it has flight numbers of 7, 6, -1, 1, while our new made in Sweden FD has flight numbers of 7, 6, 0, 1. Also, the PDJ shows the old FD with a rim thickness of 1.8 centimeters and the new FD with a rim thickness of 1.7 centimeters. We measured them and they're very close. Overall, the new FD feels a little stiffer than the old C-line FD feels, and it's really quite stiff compared to the other discs. We attribute this stiffness to the much more overstable flight we experienced. This disc probably will break in over time, but for now it's too stable for straight flight given our arm speed. It's definitely much more stable than the Innova produced FDs we've thrown in the past. Next is the Prodigy F5. It was PDJ approved in 2013 and has flight numbers of 7, 5, -2, 1. It has a 1.8 centimeter rim thickness. We purchased this Seppu Paiu signature F5 specifically for this video. This particular example is molded in Prodigy's 400 plastic. It's a great looking disc and the plastic feels really good, but out of the box it had some pretty significant flashing. It can be removed easily if that bothers you. We liked the way the F5 flew out of the box, and we found it middle of the pack stability-wise. Like so many other things, there aren't so much winners and losers here, just trade-offs to be aware of. While testing this video, we threw most of the discs in the same 30-foot circle, so we can make almost all of them work, but there are differences. The Leopard 3. The pros are it's a solid all-around disc that flies with a bit of turn and never feels squirrely. There's no real negative to this disc, but in our experience, Innova is so big, sometimes their consistency suffers. The River was the most understable disc in this comparison, and it can be very rewarding for someone who can control their release angles. It's also molded in outstanding plastic. On the con side, they do have a bit of flashing when new, and it may be too understable for those with faster arm speeds. The Mantis is an interesting disc. Both of ours flew beautifully, and the Mantis is a bit faster than the others, which resulted in more distance. The disc top shape is weird, but it's more comfortable than the others to throw forehand, and the results are hard to argue with. The molding inside the rim doesn't suit everyone, but we actually like it. The Icon Plastic Patriot would be our choice for someone who has a bit more arm speed than we do and loves soft, grippy plastic. The Drift is another excellent disc on the more understable end of the spectrum. These are a premium product with a little better price than many of the other discs, appealing to the cheapskate in us. The new C-line Discmania FD is a beautifully molded disc that might be the choice if you have more arm speed and find the others in the comparison too understable. And finally, we thoroughly enjoyed throwing the Prodigy F5, and its sales help our spirit animal and all-around frisbee guru, Seppu Paiu. Our only tiny nit is the flashing, which is easily removed. Hopefully this has helped you narrow your choices. Leave a comment below letting us know what your favorite flippy fairway driver is. And finally, thank you to the YouTubers who have left incredible and encouraging comments on our previous videos. They have really inspired us to keep disc golf weird.